Hello, welcome to Gen Z Finance. I'm an older Gen Z on the cusp of being a young millennial, documenting my financial journey here on YouTube and over on my Instagram at Zennial Finance. Today we are going to be doing a mid-year check-in on my 2021 financial goals. Back in, I believe, December of 2020, I first released what my goals were for 2021, so we'll talk about them obviously and review them, but if you want to check out that video, I will link it up top. And then at the end of March, I also did a kind of end of Q1 check-in on my goals. So now we are officially at the end of Q2 and at the mid-year point. So we are going to go ahead and get started. For anyone who is new to my channel, I did just want to provide a little bit of context about who I am now and where I was at the time that I created these goals. At the beginning of 2021, I was 23. I've since turned 24. I do live at home for cheap, so that is a very big help in my pursuit of these goals and definitely was an impact on what goals I decided to focus on this year. I did become debt-free in September of 2020, and so since then I've kind of switched to focusing more on investing and FIRE. So I categorized my goals in a couple of ways, and the first section of goals related to spending habits and having a healthy mindset around money. And so this was based on a couple of ideas, one of them being that health is wealth, and also that you should spend on things that you love. These two kind of quotes inspired me with these next set of goals. So I had three goals in this section. The first one was to have a total yearly spend of $15,000, and so far year to date as of the end of June, I've spent $6,766. So I'm a little bit under the halfway point, which I'm really happy about. That kind of buffer that I have built in for myself, and that I think will help me going into later half of the year. While I give myself a big restriction on my total spend for the year, again, this is not including anything that I send to investments, I did not want to avoid going to the doctor or spending any money on my health and medical needs. So I actually made that one of my goals because I know I do have a tendency to maybe avoid the doctor to save some money. And Q2 was a really big success for this. I really made it a focus to make sure I make some appointments and everything. So far I spent $390 in doctor's appointments. Obviously this $390 that is included in how much I've totally spent so far for the year, but I am happy that I am not depriving myself and avoiding the doctor. So the third goal here was that I should spend money on fun, friends, family, and travel, especially after 2020 and being cooped up. When opportunities came up for me to hang out, I just did not want to worry about the budget or saying no to any of that. So I've been doing good for this. I've been going out and seeing friends and again seeing family and just spending money on them and experiences with them. So I'm going to say that for this first section of trying to have a healthy money mindset and making sure that I'm still spending on things that I love while still staying within reason in my budget, I'm going to give myself an A+ on this. So the second group of goals related to income. So I had 4 goals in this section. The first one was I wanted a $2,000 a month net income, and I did at the time make this goal pretty easy to achieve. I thought I was going to be able to achieve it, and I have. So my net income in total that I've actually brought into my budget for the past 6 months has been $16,474, which averages out to about $2,750. This does not include any stimulus income. So I think in 2021, I have received $2,000 in stimulus from the government, and I did not include that in the calculations because that was like really just a random windfall that I could never really count on again. This also doesn't include any money from my YouTube channel, or I do sell some dashboards. So that does not include that money because that money is all in a business account, and I actually have yet to pay myself from any of those profits from YouTube or anything like that. That's all still in a kind of business account, and so that is separate. The second goal I wanted to hit was to be monetized on YouTube, and I did achieve this in Q1. I'm not yet paying myself from this like we talked about, which leads us into the third goal. Once I hit this monetization early on Q1, my next goal was I wanted to consistently bring in $100 a month in ad revenue from YouTube, and I've not yet hit this. It's only really been about 5 or so months since I hit monetization, but I'm not losing hope yet. I still have 6 months to just increase my consistency a bit and hit that $100 a month threshold. And then the fourth goal I had was to get a raise at my full-time job, and I can say that I officially did this in June of 2021. It was only a 3% raise, which is really just a cost of living adjustment, but I was pretty happy with this. I did also come with a small bonus of about $2,100 gross, and that is definitely the biggest bonus I've ever had, so I was thrilled with that. So the last section of goals that I want to talk about was my saving and investing goals. These are the big ones that I've been focusing on, and this is all about building some wealth. The first goal in this section was that I wanted to invest $30,000 and or 50% of my my gross income. So as of the end of June, I've invested $18,825. My gross income has been $34,500, giving me an investing rate of 54.5%. For every dollar that I make, 54 cents of that is being invested, which is super mind-blowing. And obviously the fact that I am living at home helps. If I had to pay, a whole big rent, I would not be able to achieve this with my current income. So my second goal is to increase my cash savings by $10,000. At the beginning of 2021, my cash on hand was about $20,800. Midway through the year, we were at $25,400. So I am just about 50% of the way there. And so the third goal in this section is that I want to hit an $80,000 net worth by the end of 2021. And when looking at my entire portfolio, I want cash to make up less than 35% of my assets. And obviously my cash is increasing. So how this would happen is my invested assets would increase at a faster rate than my cash assets, just naturally shrinking those. So as of the end of June, I have hit just over $70,000. So at the halfway point, I am less than $10,000 away from my original net worth goal of $80,000. That's really exciting. This makes me feel pretty confident that I will hit this $80,000 net worth. Depending on how the market does, I could hit this and then go over it and then maybe drop back down if the market has a slowdown or enters a correction or anything like that. But I think almost regardless of how the market does, at this point, halfway through the year, I'm at $70,000 just based on what I'm able to contribute on a monthly basis. I should definitely hit $80,000. My stretch goal is $100,000. I think that's like a little too fantasy land, but I might be able to hit somewhere in the $90,000 range, which would be fantastic. You can check out some of my previous monthly net worth reviews to kind of see where I started at the beginning of 2021 to see where I am now. And then as of the end of June, my cash is sitting at 36.2% of my entire portfolio. So it has definitely shrunk. I believe it was over 50% at the beginning of the year. So it's definitely shrinking. And I also think I'm going to hit this cash asset goal. For this section, I'm going to go ahead and give myself an A-. I'm on track for everything except maybe a little bit behind schedule on the cash savings, but really not my biggest concern. So next we're going to talk about my goals for Q3 and Q4. First one is I need to start controlling my spending. Honestly, I thought $15,000 was going to be an easy maximum to spend, but I really do need to start checking myself before I wreck myself. May and June were just slightly more spendy than I wanted them to be. I'm not too worried about it yet because I'm still, like I said, under that 50% mark, but I just can't get too crazy. I really got to make sure that I'm focusing on that limit whenever I go out. So the second goal is I want to work towards a big raise in 2022. For this, I am going to meet with my boss soon to determine what I need to do to be considered for a promotion next year. And then I need to be ready to switch companies next year if I feel like I hit all of the requirements that I was asked to do and they don't give me the promotion or more substantial raise. I'm going to want to switch companies. I want to give my current company the opportunity to keep me on if they would like me to stay on, but I can't let my career or my earning potential stall for too long at one place. And unfortunately, a lot of times your current company just doesn't want to pay you more. But I'm starting to lay out the groundwork to reach this goal in 2022. Third, kind of relating back to health is wealth and not being afraid to spend money on my health. It's time that I start getting back into some activity. In 2020, before the parallelogram, I was going to the gym every day, and just since then, I just haven't been. So I need to be willing to work in either gym fees, or I used to play volleyball a lot, so maybe I need to find like a recreational volleyball league, and I just need to be ready to spend money on those fees or whatever and be okay with that, because I definitely need to get my body moving again as it was. The fourth update to my goals is, like I talked about, maybe potentially reaching a net worth between $90,000 to $100,000. Obviously, if I hit $100,000 this year, that would be the biggest dream ever. That's insane. I just can't wrap my head around that number. But the market is going to market. It's going to go up. It might go down. I can't control that. And I personally don't have enough money that I can contribute each month to hit this goal without the help of a somewhat strong market. So this is a nice to have, but I wouldn't say no to getting really close to that 6-digit portfolio. And then a new goal I have for the rest of the year is to get my invested assets to anywhere between $55,000 and $60,000. So this kind of goes in hand with getting that cash assets to a smaller percentage of my portfolio. I honestly think I could maybe see my cash shrinking to like 30% of my portfolio, which would be fantastic, getting it below that 1/3 mark. But currently, as of the end of June, I have $44,900 invested. Again, this can fluctuate. If the market goes down, that number is going to drop. But in order to hit my $30,000 invested goal, I still need to contribute about another $12,000. So if I contributed that $12,000, and even if the market stays like flat, I should be able to hit that $55,000 invested asset goal. And if the market does a little bit well, I can maybe hit that $60,000. So that is a new goal that I'm going to keep an eye on and try to hit this year. All right, so that's going to be it for my mid-year check-in on my goals. If you want more information on my exact numbers and how I work during the month to reach my goals, you can check out my bi-weekly budgets with me or my monthly budget wrap-ups. Those will both give you a better idea with how I actually handle my money. So as always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy and that you have a good day.